Hey everybody, we're back. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
We lost internet connection at my house for a brief moment. It's been restored. We're fine. I don't know where we cut off, so let's try and find where we were talking.
I think one of the pixies that usually controls your camera was taking a walk in your house and just played with other stuff.
Yeah, I gotta go discipline the pixies.
So, party comparison. I guess that's the last thing you heard, guys. If you have someone who likes to create parties, let him create a party. If you all are individuals and want to chime in, do that as well. But find a theme, find a reason to create a party in the way you need it, and then go on with it. And don't be shy of creating a min-max party. It's good and it's totally okay to make that, because to beat this dungeon, I'm pretty sure you need it, because this dungeon is freaking OP. There are a lot of monsters. There's not much downtime that you were able to get. It's not like, oh, we have a small, nice, and a real interesting session of roleplay. No, we have a huge ass dungeon where the DM wants to kill you every second, every round of it. So, design your party that way as well, to be able to try to survive each round and accomplish your goals.
Yeah.
I was talking about feats as well. I don't know if you picked it up. Stuff like for out of combat healing, the healer feat, which is very important because it heals a lot of hit points. A potion of healing, which you can up to, I guess, 14 and still have high armor classes. Prayer of healing is a good out of combat healing spell if you need to waste it, but in combat, try to avoid wasting spells for picking up your people, because it will drain your resources very fast. Other than that, there are a lot of other good feats for your melees, like Sentinel, to avoid monsters running through all your people like the Fire Elemental did on us. If you want to crowd control things, Sentinel is a good feat. The obvious choices like Pole Arm Master, Great Weapon Master, Heavy Armor Master, these are all solid choices. Lucky is a good choice if you know that there are a lot of saving throws coming up and you need to make these saving throws. Lucky is good. In the Bless spell is really good as well, and all that jazz. So 8 is a good spell for out of combat, boosting permanent hit points. It all depends on how much resources you have available for the group. So try to make sure that you're not wasting too many spells on healing, which you could use to actually kill the enemies. You know?
Okay. I think if you go fighter with human variant, you can get up to 3 feats. Is there any point in trying to get 3 feats?
Yes.
Yes. There's some really fun feat interactions, and in fact, our warlocks have a really interesting one that we.
Oh my god.
There are things that actually work well together. I mean, for a fighter, the obvious choice is to go. Let's say it's a DPS fighter who actually wants to kill stuff and not stand there and just use his shield to poke things. He would go Great Weapon Master to be able to do a lot more damage. He wants to go Pole Arm Master to have the reach, to be able to hit the target before it's able to reach you. And if he also picks up Sentinel, he's able to hit the target hard and stop him in its tracks before it's able to reach you in melee range. And you're able to make 3 attacks per round with your fighter. So there are some synergies there that work really good, as well as, using a barbarian with the wolf totem, who's able to give everyone in melee advantage. Shield Bash is a Shield Master is also a good feat to be able to knock things down. There's sadly a lot of monsters in the game that in the dungeon that are immune to being knocked prone and all the good stuff. So need to be aware of that as well. What else? Pick spells.
Master for tanks.
Yeah, that's good too. If you know you're facing a lot of small monsters that do tiny bitsy amounts of damage, like goblin archers or 20 kobolds in a room, picking up heavy armor master will save you a lot of hit points that you would need to heal.
Yeah.
You know, a light cleric is a good choice for your cleric because of his AoE channel divinity, which is even bigger than a fireball and still does 2d10 points of damage plus your level. So 2d10 plus 5 or 2d10 plus 6, which is a good amount of damage. You're able to clear a room with it of small monsters. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of very good choices. And I think that the class selection actually kind of reflects that, because Rangers, let's be honest, are the worst class in 5th edition. It's sadly the truth. Sorcerers are not the worst class, but sadly are simply underutilized or are being a bit outshined by the Warlock because of the damage and the pushing and all that stuff that you can do with it. That's just a part of the dungeon, not of the sorcerer class. The wizard is great as well, but it's a long rest class, so it didn't get much utilization. And all the others have been part of groups like barbarian, bard. I think that we have seen so much warlocks is not typical for a D&D game. It's usually you see a warlock here and there. It's not the main class in every D&D session, so that's a bit atypical, I must admit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
It looks like chat wants us to talk about druids. They're still good. They've been nerfed. You can't summon 8 snakes anymore or 8, elk.
That is something we need to talk about here. We have changed the conjure animal spell for not for balance reasons, not because it's too strong, but because it's hugely boring to play. It's efficient for success, but it's unfun for the players, the viewers, and the DM. Like, nobody enjoys it. So we have changed the spell. You can still summon whatever, but there's a maximum of 2 creatures that will appear. So if you want to summon a CR 1/4 creature or 2 CR 1/4 creatures, that's fine. If you want to summon whatever, but no more than 2 creatures will appear. This is so that we don't bog down the game with like 5-minute rounds every time we have to move the monsters through hallways and nonsense like that.
I totally agree on the annoying part that you have to move the monsters and that moving 8 monsters around takes a huge ass time that you could spend doing something else. Yeah. That I'm totally in agreement with. But if you would ask my opinion, which doesn't matter, but let's just say you would have asked, and I would say it's a straight up nerf, because being able to summoning 8 monsters allows you to have a bigger boost in action economy, to have more attacks in a round and do stuff. So
you're right. It is a nerf, but it's not being nerfed to nerf druids. The nerf is collateral damage. You know.
I get it. I have an idea that would kind of make it a bit less nerfy and not overpowering, would be to allow the druids to summon poisonous snake swarms, which are CR2, and he is only able to summon 1. It's not great, but it's a nice swarmy thing. It takes half damage from almost anything and has okay shit points. So that would be something.
Is that something that you can't normally do when conjuring animals?
No, you can't summon swarms usually, and you can't shape change into a swarm as well because it's not a single entity. But if you would allow to summon a poisonous snake swarm as a CR2, that might be something that might mitigate the thing that you can't summon 8 creatures. Just a suggestion.
It's just a ball of snakes.
Need to pick it up. Yeah, and it's always counted as a single target to do, and it's not huge as powerful, but it's nice. I must admit, it's nice. It's not bad. It's nice.
It's okay. Now we can just summon 2 alligators with grapple instead of 8 snakes with grapple.
I mean, you will usually start to see just 2 CR1 creatures or 1 CR2 creature. And for all the druids out there, if you want to summon a CR2 bear next time, don't summon an Arctic or an what is it? An ice bear? What's the
Polar
name
bear.
in English?
Polar bear.
Polar bear. Summon a freaking cave bear, because they have dark vision. So summon that. It's also
Pretty
CR2.
good
It's a
advice.
variant of the polar bear.
Doesn't it? Can it?
I like
grapple you
druids.
too?
They have great spells. I mean, they have Moonbeam, which is a good AoE spell. If you're, I would actually suggest, if Conjure Animals isn't working for you anymore, to just go with Moonbeam. It's gonna do good damage if you're able to keep it up. It's a good spell in a fight as well, and yeah, being able to shape change into things and just being able to tank a bit is a nice addition as well. But overall, with the changes Conjure Animals, you might want to go with a cleric. Just saying, maybe Spirit Guardians with its 10 minutes of duration, and Warcaster is a lot more annoying and might be a lot better than the Conjure Animals in future sessions.
Yeah, select your spells based on their annoyingness, Daniil.
No, it's a control spell. You're able to control the area and the movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
But
Fairy Fire
I
is
think-
really good too.
I think that leads us to our next point after the groups and stuff. What's with? We wanted to give a quick look into short rest and long rest and our opinions on it. I think we might agree. So, Apollo, why don't you just start it off?
So I think some of the things that I think I wanted to get from each of us was like, is it worth it? And is it situational? Like situationally worth it? Like, is there a time for it? Is there a place for it? I'll start, I guess, with my opinion, and that is that short rests in some cases are definitely worth it. And you want to do it in an area that you can kind of control the battlefield. So like parties that have done it in like the T-Rex room after clearing it, in the really long letter room where there's one entrance and one exit. You're not going to be surprised, what door that your random encounter comes from. I think short rests are good, especially if you're taking classes that do benefit from short rests. But you also need to look at, what is the party going to gain from spending this 1 hour where we could get, one or maybe two encounters. There's groups that have encountered 2 random encounters in that single hour.
Have there been any groups that encountered 0 random encounters during a short rest?
I think there have been.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I could have sworn there was one group that did it. But it's you should count on the fact that you're going to get a random encounter. And if you do have people, like if you are stopping to, benefit the whole party, that's just not going to work because some people are going to have to fight that random encounter. And usually if it's only 2 people, like I think it was with a Fatal 8 that did the T-Rex room, maybe it was 7. But anyway, 2 people went and fought the thing, and then a third person got dragged into it, and then one person got their mind flayed, and then the party PvP'd each other. It just didn't work. So I think short rests are really risky. Long rests are definitely not going to work because there's too many monsters. You maybe get a dozen encounters. I think the one time a group did it, they got a below average number of encounters according to Neil, and they got crushed. Yeah. So I think Charles, you pointed out, like, unless you do it with Tiny Hut, it's probably not going to go well.
Yeah. I actually disagree with you on the long rest thing. If you're extremely lucky with the RNG and you roll like something like really weak, like a couple of hobgoblins, I think long rest could be viable, but it's a very small chance probably of that actually happening. I do agree with you on the short rests, that short rests are viable, but again, you need Layman's Tiny Hut for it. And when you do these short rests, I recommend that you at least take a ranged weapon to fire some pot shots at the enemy before you leave and attack.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be clear, not that I'm at fault here. A long rest is 8 hours, right?
Yes.
A short rest is 1 hour, right?
Yes.
Good. So taking a short rest brings you from, if you take it instantly, because I don't know why, because it's just so cool, it takes you from 0 to round 600 instantly. If you take a long rest, this would put you at round 4,800. No one has seen the number yet, but I suggest you might face 20
Someone did do a
encounters
long rest.
just
Yeah.
standing there.
One group did a long rest and
that-
succeeded.
Yeah, but
Nah,
did you see
Hellhound
what
room.
came up into the room? The room filled up, man.
There were
I don't
monsters
know how
stuck
much was
outside the
around
room.
corner.
Yes.
To be fair, they did kill like
Mm-mm.
half of them.
But
Mm.
not only do we get to metagame, so does Neil, and he can stick some monsters outside the room. We've seen, like with the tiny hut, like as soon as one of the monsters took a couple hits, it just backed out of the room and waited for the party, and the only way that they could go. So
Speaking
But
of
we did
counter,
get the first Chimera kill.
it's true. That's true. I had a quick question. There's a race, I don't remember exactly which one, but they basically benefit from resting in half the duration. Is it?
elves. There's something about elves and meditation only needing 4 hours.
I think it's page 23.
Yeah, it's called
Trance.
trance.
Instead, they
Yes,
meditate.
but
Oh,
you still only benefit if you're taking 8 hours. So
it's
So you need
It's-
8 hours, but only four of them need to be unconscious or like out
Yeah.
of trance. You still need the 8 hours of resting.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
that
get
could
what's
still
the point of trance then, though.
have
here's
someone
the
on
thing.
watch. You know,
Oh, okay.
not useful for Fatal One, perhaps, but
personally, if you really want to survive the dungeon and find the exit, there's no chance in hell that you're able to get away with round 4,800 and just survive after that. Like, oh, you know what, Neil? The dungeon is so easy. We're gonna long rest at the entrance for 8 hours and then just start our dungeon run. And that could be fun, I guess. And if you beat all the monsters, Neil's just gonna give up, I guess. But I'm pretty sure you're just gonna die. So I wouldn't suggest that. Short rest? Maybe. If you're really lucky, you face 2 encounters and are able to get through it without wasting a lot of resources. That's a maybe. But I took a quick look at the map earlier, and if we would like to go to the Minotaur room, let's just say there might be a group that might go to the Minotaur room again. I don't know which group that might be, but maybe an upcoming group might be so stupid and try to fix the faults it has done before. I think you can reach the room under round 100 if you skip all the things that we did. So you could get to the green stuff. I'm hoping that the exit is maybe, or just above the Minotaur room, under round 100. So you have about 80 or 90 rounds to explore new areas, because we all know what's coming up. If you are prepared, the fights shouldn't take that long. You can skip some stuff with AoEing your enemies. So there should be plenty of time to find more interesting things before you reach a random encounter. I suggest go without a short rest or a long rest. Just rush through as fast as you can without expending a lot of resources to be able to handle the things that come after it.
okay. So
That's interesting.
looking at this map, if this map is accurate, that looks like maybe, what would you say, a third, maybe a little more than a third, 2/6, or I'm sorry, 3/6 of the dungeon? No, hold on. I can really do math. 4/9, maybe, something like that, has been explored. A little more than a third, a little less than half. We're missing huge swaths of this dungeon here. You know?
Yeah.
Huge areas.
But the thing is this, I mean, you said there are multiple ways that lead to the exit.
Yes.
So you we might not even see a lot of areas before a group is able to reach the exit.
This is true.
I mean,
So
has a party considered just turning around at the entrance and like tapping on that southmost wall and seeing if there's, a hidden door there?
No one has searched the starting room.
you think such a Lord of Rings moment, like just speak exit and the door appears and you go out?
Someone in chat mentioned tapping your heels together and wishing there's no place like home. Might work as well.
Oh yeah.
I've suggested in a game saying the words Goblin King 3 times, like Beetlejuice.
Oh, that's a good idea. We should try that.
Goblin King, Goblin, but say it in Goblin. So make sure to bring that language.
Pretty peas with carrots.
Yeah.
I've also seen the theory that this is somehow related to the movie Labyrinth because of the Goblin King reference somewhere.
Yeah.
So you might want to double check Labyrinth for any clues.
That was interesting. I just thought, man, okay. I hope we didn't go that far because it would be crazy. But my theory on Goblin King is still that, and I don't know if you find any information. Someone brought it up in Discord that we might find some informations about the Goblin King on your website, which is funny as it is. What's his name again of your website?
RegalGoblins.com?
Oh, Regal Goblins? Might there be a connection between Regal Goblins? A Regal Goblin might be a Goblin King? So, yeah, I still have some kind of fear that as Apollo said, that there is a Goblin King that we might face at the end, and it might be a Regal Goblin. I'm not sure. We'll see. And it could be
Password
fun.
is Neil Erickson spelled backwards. No.
Oh, we cracked the code.
Yeah. If that's the sort of puzzles that you like looking for clues in various different places, I want to recommend to all of you the old internet game Not Prawn. If you've never heard of this, it is this endlessly complicated puzzle where you start on one web page and you have to dig through it for clues, which then leads you to another clue and to another clue, and it will tax all of your various skills, and you'll end up searching all sorts of websites and trying to decipher information in weird ways. I think it's solved, so you can find the answers to it if you really need to. But I recommend trying it with a group of friends that have a diverse set of skills, including at least one programmer, probably more than that, and a musician, and some other things. It's super fun, hella frustrating.
Oh god.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Fatal 1.
Sure. So rests. Oh dear. Good luck with that.
And here's the other question. If you have an established route,
Oh yeah.
do you really want to take the chance and explore a totally different one? Or do you want to try to follow the path that's already been trodden and try to push deeper? So I think that's the thing I'm thinking about, because it's hard to be able to see the whole map in the end. I'm pretty sure we won't, because that's typical. I think you will find a way that's kind of working, and then everyone will just try to follow the way through, because it's so dark, so deep into the dungeon. Maybe.
So I want to talk about these codes for a moment. We have found 2 encrypted messages that you've mentioned are similarly lengthed. All the words the spacings make it look like they're the same, and the formatting makes it look like they're two versions of the same thing or something. We found a code room, and we found the words Goblin and King, and these all have come off of these 6 portals down here, or at least 5 of the 6 portals down here. How is the progress going on solving these puzzles?
Well, Neil, not great. Back to you.
I haven't tried.
I just lost my voice. I can't talk right now.
So not so great, it seems. Okay.
Yes. So I've put together this Fatal One code analysis page, and I've tried all kinds of substitutions and indexing. I think they would be classified as really simple methods for trying to extract the message. I'm no cryptographer. I don't know much about decrypting stuff, but I know a lot about Excel sheets and coding, fancy formulas. So I've been doing a lot with that. And if anyone wants to go take a look at my work and see all the stuff I've done, that page is floating around. It's really challenging. We've got these two codes. There's some speculation that the Goblin King letters could be a clue to indexing and shifting things, but it's really complicated, it seems. Or there's just something really simple that we're missing, or maybe there's more clues in the dungeon that we need to go find.
I believe we're missing a key. I think we need a key.
Yeah.
Because if we had that, it would just make everything so much easier. We have no way to solve the puzzle. We have the letters and we have 2 hints to what it might be, but we don't have something that would say, oh, hey, these are what these letters mean, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm.
Yeah.
So if we have anyone that has a lot of cipher decryption experience or likes to do these things for fun, I think the team could really use your help on this.
Yeah. It's been a tough time of the year. I've been really busy with the holiday season, so I haven't been able to put a ton of time and effort into it, but I think after the new year, I'm going to be poking through Wikipedia to find some other encryption methods, because the truth of the matter is you probably had to find or create something, and you also created this dungeon at the same time. So, how much time and effort will Neil have put into hiding this message? It's something I'm thinking about. I'm not just thinking about the puzzle itself, but also what went into it, and that might lead us to figure out how complicated or challenging it might be. So I'm trying to game Neil here.
You guys are so many layers deep on this. Okay.
The funny thing is, Evil Me actually went on Reddit, and on one of the decoder forums that are on Reddit, posted it and said, hey guys, Dungeons and Dragons players need your help to decode the message. It's all metagaming, it's all good. Please help us solve the message. Do you think I got a real answer? No. I don't know what you did, man, but it's hard to crack, I guess. I have no input so far. I guess I have to.
Well, let me just say that I don't do any cipher breaking or code breaking of any kind. So it's not that complicated.
Okay.
It's definitely solvable. And I've gone back and double checked to make sure that I've entered the cipher correctly. Because the first few times that I encoded it wrong. So
maybe it's like a word puzzle or something. Maybe we're just overthinking it, and we have to put the letters in the right positions. It forms a sentence or something. BS like that. That's probably stupid. I don't know. I've taken each message
and gone through every row and done a substitution for every single row. Maybe I need to do it for every column now. Try that. I've taken the T-Rex code and used it as the row reference, and the dragon and used it as the vertical reference, and tried cracking it that way. I haven't done all the work. I haven't tried all the possibilities, but I'm trying simple stuff because I figured simpler would.
Here's the thing. I thought it as well. It didn't work for me as well. I then started to say, okay, well, what if each row is encoded individually? So it might be a 36-time encoded message. After 10 times, I just gave up and said to myself, Neil can't be that crazy.
In chat, we have the point here. The question is if it's solvable with the current information or if there's more information hidden within. Do you guys have any ideas on whether or not there might be more information out there?
Well, see, that's what I was Yeah, that's what I was saying about. I noticed that the 2 codes came from rooms that had pillars. We've seen other rooms with pillars. I think the room that had the key in it had some pillars, as well as like a staircase leading up to nothing. We've seen an orc room with pillars. The spider room had pillars. So there may have been messages in those rooms. So there may be more.
Okay, let's see which one. What are 1, 2, 3? So also we have the information about this stuff.
Kissa just said, to win, you just have to admit that Neil is better at Dungeons and Dragons than you are.
It's not possible. All of this information has been collected out of these 5 portals right here, right?
Yeah.
Goblin comes from 6, King comes from 5, 3 leads to the big block of code, the diagonal repeating things. 1 leads to 1 blob of text, and 2 leads to another blob of text. Portal 4 is still in the same area over here. Do you think Portal 4 is related to these things? And also, do you think portals 5 and 6 are related to these things? You know, because the lines of text and the solver thing are all out of the same one room by the banshees and mummies. So how much of this information do you think is related?
I think we'll need to explore the Portal 4 area more to find out, because there's a ton of rooms that are unexplored there. You're right that they are kind of geographically all located in the same area, but then they branch out, especially Portal 4.
Is that a red herring, you guys think, or?
You know, there might be more answers behind the locked doors.
Yeah,
maybe.
Could be. I think all we can do at this point is speculate and keep trying to crack the code with what we got, and encourage parties to keep going.
What level is knock as a spell?
2nd, I believe.
Either 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, 1st or 2nd. Remember.
So if you're going for all the closed doors, bring a rogue and bring a knock spell and just open it. 2nd level. So you can use it 3, 6. You can open 6 doors like instantly. You can burn your 3rd level spells if you need to.
Would a 6th level wizard get 4 and 2 for 2nd and 3rd level spells?
He gets 3 3rd level spells, so I think he has also 3 or 4 2nd level spells.
Oh my. So 6th level wizard should have 3 2nd and 3 3rd. So yeah. So that's 6 knock spells.
He could open 6 doors. That's
knock is 2nd level.
Yeah.
All the wood doors can also be just broken through.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
And I think my character in the last one was able to break it with 1 athletics action. I think I hit like a 17 or 18 on my.
So a good thing might be to have a rogue who's actually skilled in the Thief's Tools with high dexterity. A character who's able to bless and to use guidance, to give him a D4 as a bonus, and then just let him do his thing. Maybe 2 characters to have advantage, so that 2 work on 1 lock. So they can use the help action to boost his chance to open the door. And if you fail, just use the knock spell. So yeah, might be a thing to do to get to the information. And then just hope that there is nothing that can kill you behind the door.
Or Kool-Aid your way through it.
Yeah.
What?
He's referring to the Kool-Aid man busting through the walls.
It's an old American commercial.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Is there anything else to discuss about this, or have you caught everyone up to date on all the information that's been discovered and figured out and stuff?
I think I had 2 more things for us to talk about, and that is I wanted to get everyone's opinions on the doors and readying actions for fights, and because we've seen that if the players ready actions going into a fight, that the monsters will also ready actions. But if the players decide not to, the monsters will not as well. What do you all think?
I believe that you should use it, but maybe not as much as one of my parties did it at one point.
Mhm.
Maybe you just use it for like really important encounters, like say the Hydra or the stupid Umber Hulk. You know,
Yes.
that Umber Hulk. I have PTSD of it now.
Yeah. What do you think, Almighty?
Whew. I mean, I sat here a couple of sessions and played with you, Neil. So I think I hope I have a good grasp on what's good to do with your ready action before you enter a room or not. So far, after our Fatal 1 group, after Fatal 1 7, I think we got a glimpse of if you start a ready action to cast spells and damage creatures, all the enemies will do it as well. And it's a bad choice. It's just a bad choice. I mean, it's good to be able to get to be the first one dealing damage, but if you open the door and all ready action goes off, you have won nothing. So later on at Fatal 8, we started to ready action to dash into the room. So far, readying an action to dash into the room to face the encounter has not been punished. So instead of opening the door, rolling initiative, and being at this at the entrance spot, you can be in the middle of the room or somewhere along the lines and then roll for initiative. So I suggest readying an action if you know what's coming. I mean, if you know the room and you know what you're going to face or think you know what you're going to face, readying an action to dash in and face the enemy is a solid choice and you should do it. If you go to a room and you have no idea what's inside, man, just open the room and take a look. And if it's a beholder, just close the door and run away. That's my point of view, because it's going to be new for you. If you're ready in action and there's some big bad evil monster with 8 attacks, it's just going to splatter you the moment you open the door. I mean, just imagine you go to a room and you're ready action to attack and you open the door and it's an Umber Hulk. I mean, that's like fail. Instant fail. Yeah. That's hard.
But it makes you laugh.
Yeah, sure. For a second, I'm going to laugh, then I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
But,
you know,
it's all for entertainment, man.
Yeah.
I generally agree that like coordinating to have the group all enter at the same time is generally like the best idea, unless you have someone, you know, a party member you want to leave behind on the other side of the door for safety reasons. I think there are a few situations where it actually does make sense to ready like a fireball. Like, for example, I'm thinking of the Mind Flayer Mycenoid adult room. It's a really tiny room, really challenging encounter because of all the like stun locking that they can do. And the Mycenoids don't really have ranged attacks. So you can't, in that encounter, and maybe a few others, you won't be punished as much as you would, like entering into a room where there's, 20 goblins with slings or goblin archers or whatever that can just wallop you with a, salvo. But there are, if you know what encounter you're walking into and you don't think you'll be punished for it, readying actions can be to your advantage.
Okay.
And I apologize for that crinkling. That's my dog. She's been really bored while I've been.
Aren't Mycenoids also vulnerable to fire too?
I believe so.
But I'm not worried about the Mycenoids if you fireball the room. I'm more worried that the Mind Flayer will just stand at the door, smile, and mind blast you as a return. And then 4 players fail their saving throws, and it's just a party wipe.
That could be bad. Maybe have a paladin on hand.
Maybe have a 8-man group.
Ooh.
I mean,
that would be interesting. An 8-man group, but everyone's only level 3.
Oh god!
No.
Oh,
just make them all barbarians and have them with great weapon.
Yeah. I think there's been a number of people asking if Pact of the Chain warlocks would have their fiend with them when they enter the dungeon, which is another one of those companion questions. It's not something you carry on your person, but
Much of this game has been having to test things out to decide whether or not it works.
Yeah.
So why don't you make a warlock and just see if it shows up with you? But maybe not bet. Like, maybe not build your character around that just in case it doesn't.
Well, that's a solid no for you guys.
Well, when your alternative option is packed weapon, it's a pretty clear choice, I think.
Yeah, packed weapon's pretty strong here.
Yeah.
It's a shame that you stopped at like level 6, because I think at level 7 you get to add your charisma to packed weapon attacks.
Yeah. Level 7 also gives you 4th level spells, which is where I drew the line. When trying to figure out how the power level that I wanted to play this at, I glanced at 4th level spells and just like, no, none of this.
Yeah, to make the dungeon work, you might have to ban outright some spells, which might be very sad.
Yeah. All right.
But cool. I mean, what's the next thing? Investigating rooms.
Oh.
Right. I mean, you only have a certain amount of time, and to investigate a room takes you about 10, 20, or 30 minutes, if I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
So
you really have to weigh your options.
Yeah, you have to pick the number of times you want to investigate your room, because once this starts to ramp up to around 200, and I think 400 and 800 or something like that, you start to run into random encounters and need to face them as well. So
yeah,
you have to pick your time carefully there.
It's a resource management game, and time is one because of the random encounter mechanic.
And if you run into a chimera, bad luck.
That's also a reason why you haven't seen so many people start to investigate the rooms as of late, because I think I can only speak for the groups I was in. We are just worried about the time that we're wasting and running into random encounters, because we're not able to do then what we actually plan to do, because it's just a curveball that comes at you and you don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
But that's really hard.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else, or have we caught everyone up to date on where we are today in Fatal 1?
Yeah. I did have some party forming tips, and if we want to skip over those, we can just post them in chat.
No, go ahead. What
Did you create a graphic for putting on the stream, like reminding people how to sign up?
No, I totally forgot.
Yeah.
But that's something that needs to be done. Absolutely. That should have been done like day 1. That should have been part of the overlays.
Sure. Yeah. So definitely check out the Reddit page. Just Google Fatal 1 Reddit, and I think it's the first or second post. There was actually 2 different ones. I think there was like the initial announcement and then an updated one. So look for that updated one. But all that information's there. But just some tips that I had, and I'll invite Old Mighty and Charles to chime in here. For forming your party, we mentioned it before, be very clear when you're forming a group what you are, if you're the leader, like be really clear and communicate what you're hoping to accomplish with your group, and make that public so that not only the people joining your group know, but also the community knows what everyone's trying to accomplish among the different parties that are forming. And that also helps people find groups that they're interested in and avoid groups that they're not interested in. Once you've found a group, again, clarify that objective, and make sure that it's clear whether or not decision making is a democracy or if there is a shot caller who's dictating that to the party. Clarify, how is the party going to see? Are we all taking dark vision? Are we using light cantrip? Are we using torches? How are we holding those torches with all the things in our hands? Are we affixing them to one of our animals that we've conjured? Clarify what feats you need, who's going to take them, what if you need to bring healing kits or not. Sorry for that.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I think communicating really clearly around what time you all are available. I recommend using things like creating a Google Doc and sorting out everyone's time zone and how that lines up with everyone else's, or using Doodle Poll is great, especially across the time zones. And then, go through your character gen and have everyone look at each other's sheets and check them for errors, make sure that it makes sense, that maybe if someone has the healer feat but they don't have healer's kits listed, catch there. Or if someone has 800 pounds of gear that you're asking them how they're carrying all of that sort of stuff. And then,
that didn't happen.
No.
Figure out your shit, guys.
It wasn't just you, man. It wasn't just you. And then I think my final recommendation is, because communication both before and during the game is so important, make sure that you're using like a communication tool like a Discord group to chat. And I can't tell you, Old Mighty and I have been in a number of parties together, and all the communication that happens in Discord while we're playing is really key to our survival.
You guys have been taking notes and passing information while we're playing privately?
Hey, you said as long as we're role playing, we can meta all we want.
Absolutely. I'm just impressed. I didn't know this was happening. There's been colluding happening under my nose.
It's one of the first things that we try to enforce in our group, was to read the Discord chat. Whatever happens, read the chat.
Yes.
Because you're able to coordinate some things beforehand. For me, it's not really cheating. It's the same thing you do when you're sitting at a table and you give your other player a wink, like, well, blast a fireball.
Yeah.
And it just, there's some things we might not want to let the DM know before we do it, but we want to coordinate ourselves. Mm-hmm. So that's things we did, and I encourage anyone who wants to kind of coordinate their gameplay a bit more to do that as well. Don't drag the game itself behind. So first of all, try to take your actions when you're on, but when you're not the one in focus right now, and it's not your turn, and you have something important to say to your other group members, and it's not in character, it's not role play, it's just some meta stuff, send them a quick message in Discord and you will get your information, and they know what's going to happen next round, what you're trying to do. So they might start to maneuver into a special position so that you're actually able to do what you want to do and stuff like that. So yeah, we did that. I admit it, and it
expands the 6-second rounds of communication.
Yeah,
that's very good.
And I'll attest to the fact that when a party member is not in Discord and paying attention, it can really hurt the party. Yeah.
All right.
Any other tips you all had for parties?
I had one last thing, and that wasn't really a tip. It's just some stuff that we haven't done yet that could be possible and useful. Basically spells, feats, and items, or something that could be good. And you guys can come in and tell me if there's anything else that could be added. So an example is Charger and its uses. Basically, Charger allows you to, when you take a dash action, you can attack as a bonus action and get +5 damage, or you could shove the enemy. So that gives options for crowd control and for some extra damage. Offensive Duelist is for monsters that have attacks that do a lot of really powerful damage, like say, what's it called? The Umber Hulk. It has 2 claws, but its bite is like the most powerful attack that it has in terms of damage. Dungeon Delver for its resistances to traps, and I think whatever else it does. What does Durable do? Durable has a couple stuff it could do. Sorry. Durable allows you to, when you roll a hit die to regain your hit points, minimum number of hit points you regain from the roll equals twice your constitution roll modifier to a minimum of 2.
So that's if you're going to be taking short rests, it might be useful to take the Durable.
Yeah, so you aren't like getting piss poor heals.
Mm-hmm. Throw down a Lehman's tiny hut, have everyone with the Durable feat, and you can just short rest forever.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Oh god, that'll be interesting. We've been seeing a lot of very short runs, trying to keep the number of random encounters to a minimum.
Martial Adept.
Which is interesting. At first, the community notes had like random encounter groups and the probabilities that were showing up, but it seems like that stopped being tracked after like the 4th or 5th episode.
Yeah, I think I noticed that either at the beginning or at a certain point during a run, you tend to roll like a number of dice, and I think you predetermine the round numbers of random encounters and what they're going to be. And you use your tables to determine that. So it's just, I think it's an equal number probability.
Have we figured out when random encounters occur?
I think you roll them, is what I believe.
Is there some like range then? What is the frequency of encounters?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen like 200 round intervals. We've seen much higher. We've seen lower. We've seen, so it could be anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour.
All right, 20 minutes to an hour, encounter somewhere in there. Okay, it's like a 20d3?
Could be possible.
I don't know. You tell us, Neil.
We'll find out. Once you guys solve the dungeon, I'll happily release all of my notes on everything and answer all of your questions on it. But you have to get through it first. And you've made some great progress, guys. Like some really, really good progress.
Cool.
I think if you are dedicated and focused, it could probably be accomplished in 2 or 3 more runs if everything was perfect. I doubt it'll happen that way. It'll probably take you another 10. If you guys got lucky, I should say, and happened to pick all the right options, which are impossible to know.
Yeah.
All right. You're muted, old mighty friendly gamer.
Muted.
Still muted.
Man, I'm muted. Good. That happens. So what I wanted to say is about group and character creation at the end. It's I'm a role player at heart, so I just need to chime in the little thing that if you create your group, make it interesting for the viewers as well a bit. Don't be about the numbers at all. It's important, and I mean, I do it too. We have to min-max a bit. We have to coordinate out of game and all the stuff, but maybe create a nice backstory. Bring something interesting for Neil as well. Try to entertain us as an audience, and make it just a cool show. And I think, I can't wait for our game, Apollo. So I'm just pretty stoked about it.
When is this game? This next game with the freaking Warlock fighters?
It's on the 5th?
It's next Friday, the 5th at was it?
Yes.
9.
5th of January.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Pacific time.
8 or 9 p.m. PST.
You can expect to. Sorry.
I was just gonna say like 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. It's gonna be brutal.
It's gonna be late. I'm gonna be so tired.
We're all gonna be exhausted.
You can also You can also expect a game from us soon. Jamie, me, and Apollo, and some other guy whose name I don't remember.
Some other guy.
Sorry, Almighty. I've been playing the field.
It's good. I mean, I like to see a lot of other groups as well. I don't want to be the only player who's pushing the stuff forward. I think it's good. Fine. I mean, getting Charos in is one of the things you need to do.
Yeah.
The first step to recovery is denial. Or something like that.
Wait, the first step to recovery is denial?
Yeah.
I don't know the words, okay?
Yeah.
You heard it here first on Fatal One.
I'm not going to go through all the feats and what they do, so I'll just give a list of what some of the stuff I found that I don't think that we've done. Martial Adept, Ritual Caster, Abjure Wiz variant, Enchanter Wizard invariant, Archfey Warlock, Oath of Devotion Paladin with Sacred Weapon use, War Priest with Great Weapon Master combo,
Take that.
Eagle Barbarian Totem for 3rd level.
Great list.
It is a good list. We're gonna present a feat combo that's gonna make Neil scratch his head next Friday.
You're not going to share it right now? I mean, I could just go look at my email and see what you've got.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I think it's not. I think it's not on there. I'm not sure.
Your character sheets don't represent the characters you're playing?
They do 90%, I think. So there are some spell choices we haven't left off and stuff like that.
All right. Well, it's fine. I only glance over the character sheets to make sure that there's nothing absurd going on. Like, the first few games, I scoured everyone's character sheet to make sure everything was built right. But after that, I've kind of just...
It's a lot. And especially since D&D Beyond, which is a great tool, when you export, it doesn't actually list what your choices were on a lot of the like invocations or it's unfortunate. I really wish they'd change that.
But they're working on a new export sheet once they pushed all the other stuff live, so we can I think see some changes there soon. But when is your group coming? Are you in the next group after that? After the 5th? Do you have any dates?
No. This game on the 5th is the last one to be announced. I also have something from a Astral who wants to set something up.
The next class that's going to get nerfed. Who was asking that? Silver Saint 7 asked, I wonder which class is getting nerfed next. A Warlock. I can guarantee you it's going to be the Warlock.
Well, Warlock was already
nerfed. After the 5th of January.
Hold on. Warlock was already nerfed because you can't apply your 5 points of penalty damage towards your temporary hit points. So there's your nerf right there.
That's not a nerf for Warlocks.
No.
All right. I'll give you guys a link in chat to the things you're looking for. There you go. Okay. Well, good luck, everyone. I see that the Warlocks have 2 Great Weapon Polearms fighters and Warcasters with
Yes, we made healing. 2 ranged and 2 melee Warlocks. So
how exciting!
So I think was it Polearm Mastery and Crossbow Expert? No, it was Polearm Mastery.
No, it's not.
He just said it.
Great Weapon Fighting, Great Weapon Master, and Polearm Master. What I see as feats here.
That's for the melees, yes.
And then Warcaster with Healer and Polearm Master, and Warcaster and Healer?
One is Warcaster Healer, one is Warcaster and Polearm Mastery.
So just imagine, how those will work. Just imagine someone is carrying a quarterstaff, and an enemy is coming into melee range, and your Polearm Mastery allows you to, as a reaction, attack someone who is getting into melee range, and you use your opportunity attack to attack, and your Warcaster ability allows you, instead of the melee attack, to make a spell attack.
Don't you need Sentinel?
Blast him away. No.
Okay. No.
Are we sure these feats work like that?
It is not specific.
Wait. Now here's the thing. To be true, are we talking about rules as written, or rules as clarified by Mike Merles? Because the rules as written, they work. The rules as clarified, they don't work.
I think what the crux of it is, Polearm Mastery says you can make an attack when someone enters your threatening range, and you just make an attack. It does not say that you make an attack with the polearm weapon. It says you make an attack, and Warcaster lets you swap what you are attacking with.
Yes, it overrides it. So I mean, here's the thing: we're not using the errata at all, because we're just using the standard player's handbook, as far as I know. Or are we using the errata?
Because I feel like I've looked up some things on the errata. I don't remember if any of it has been, if anything we've done has required the errata or not. This is an interesting combination.
Yes. Did we tell him what we're also comboing that with?
No.
Okay.
Can we just save something, please, for
Yes.
the 5th of January?
We will.
I mean,
It'll be great.
Don't spoil everything.
What's going on here? Hold
we have
on.
something. We have something great. No, not. We have something great prepared. We're not gonna spoil it, and you're gonna have fun, Neil. Gonna have
All
fun.
right.
There
All right,
are
we're-
many surprises in store for you. Many.
How exciting. Well,
As,
I think.
as plentiful as my temporary hit points.
All right, guys. That's it for today. I think this is the last bit. Right? Nothing else. We've caught everyone up. I thought this was going to be like 45 minutes. It's been 2 hours, so clearly there was a lot to talk about. Yeah.
Join now, guys. If you haven't made a group, make a group now. We want to see new faces, new players that explore the dungeon. So if you're one of those who are not sure about how to do the things, hit us up on Discord or on Reddit and just ask us. I mean, we're just normal guys like you. So if you want to have some tips, some pointers, need help, just ask us. I'm Old Mighty Friendly Gamer on Discord. That's Apollo Nick. That's Charos. And I mean, Neil doesn't need any introduction. And there are a lot of other great people on Discord as well. So just join us. Join the war effort against Koibu and bring this goblin down.
All right.
Don't worry, we won't court-martial you like Starship Troopers. No? Don't get it? Okay, fine.
All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.